Hello everyone, welcome back to another vlog. So I kind of wanted to have kind of a laid back couple of days in this week's vlog. I had sort of a busy last couple of weeks, so I just kind of wanted to take some time to slow down and just cozy up at home. It's been very cold outside as well, so I found every excuse to just kind of stay home with my books, and that's how I wanted to spend this week, to be honest. I did recently make a trip to Trader Joe's, as you guys just saw in the earlier clips. I wanted to just get a few items and see what they had for the Christmas season, but while I was there, I did pick up some eggnog. I think it's like an oat milk eggnog, so it's called like onog or something like that. But I've been really wanting to make an eggnog iced matcha. That just sounded so good, especially now that we are in the Christmas season. I wanted to make that kind of like my go-to festive drink, so I wanted to go ahead and make that. I got some whipped cream as well, but I wanted to share with you guys really quickly just a couple of the books that I recently finished and what I thought about them. So if you were here for my last video, I included a TBR prompt jar, and I took 3 selections from there, and I ended up starting my first Christmas read of the season, which is also my very first Christmas read ever. I mentioned briefly in my last video that I am naturally a horror/thriller genre girly, and it wasn't until the beginning of this year that I ended up picking up romance, and I ended up just falling in love with this genre. So I was very excited to pick up my first Christmas read ever. I am just so happy that it ended up being a very good first pick, because now I feel like the bar is set very high, and I'm going to be comparing all Christmas reads to the one that I just finished. But I started it in my last vlog and I finished it while I was filming this one that you're currently watching. But the book is Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. This book was honestly so good. I think I gave it a 4-star, I believe. I just could not put it down. It was just such a good read. It had all of the Christmas feels. It was cozy. It was so sweet. This was a recommendation from a friend on Instagram, but it also happened to be a book that I already had on my TBR list, so I was very excited that this ended up being the first Christmas read of the season. I feel like this was a very good place to start, but I'm just wanting to devour all of the Christmas reads, so this was a very good first read of the season. I also always link my Goodreads and all of my socials down in the description box in case you guys ever want to follow me on there. I update my Goodreads pretty regularly. I also have another book app called Fable. I high-key prefer Goodreads, but I do update both of them equally and regularly, so in case you guys want to follow me on there, just see some of my reviews or what's on my TBR list, or if you guys want another book friend, yeah, I'd love to have you in that space too. The next book that I ended up finishing was also a Christmas read, but it definitely did not live up to the expectations that I had. I got my hopes way up, and I just felt like it fell kind of flat for me. It was an enjoyable read, but I just definitely didn't get into it as much as Love Light Farms. I just feel like I was expecting a little more from the story, but that was The Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmore. I did read the other 2 in this series. The first one was the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I read that one through the fall season, and it was very charming, but I did give it a 3-star, I believe, and now thinking back on it, it could very much be like a 2.5 in my opinion. It wasn't groundbreaking or anything, but it was a nice, charming, quick read for me. But then I moved on to the second one in that series, which was a Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, and that one was honestly a 4-star read. I really enjoyed that one so much, and then we went into this one recently, and again, it kind of felt like I was reading the first one all over again with like that kind of vibe, and how it kind of just fell flat for me. I also feel like these books are so loved by so many people, and I'm not sure if it's mostly just because of the cover alone. Like, the covers are 10 out of 10, to be honest. Like, on the rating scale, the covers are so cute, and I feel like it really pulls you in to want to read them. But in my honest opinion, I feel like the second one, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, was the best one out of all 3 so far. In my opinion, I just feel like the characters were more enjoyable. It was easy for me to follow along and get invested. But yeah, so far these are the 2 first of the Christmas season. I'm really excited to continue to read more Christmas stories. I'm just eating them up right now, to be honest, and there's no end in sight. But the next book that I recently finished has nothing to do with with Christmas, to be honest, and if anything, we're going way on the other end. You guys, I have to throw in Stephen King somewhere in the mix and any one of my reading vlogs. I feel like anytime you see my list of what I'm currently reading, more than likely you will find a Stephen King book somewhere in the mix. But this one was one that I recently finished. This is a reread for me. I read this one when I was a lot younger. I want to say maybe when I was like 13 years old. Being that it was so long ago, I wanted to revisit it, and this book had me sobbing, to be honest, which if you're familiar with the movie The Green Mile, then you already know the story of this. And I feel like a lot of people will go into watching that movie and not realize that it's a Stephen King story, but is honestly, in my opinion, some of his best work by far. This has got to be way up there on the list, but this is what the cover of this one looks like. I found this book recently at half price books for like $3, and I did not have it in my personal collection yet. So I was so excited that I found it. I read it within a day, and this is the definition of a page turner. It is so incredible in every way. His writing in this is so captivating. This story is so heartbreaking. It's so moving. Definitely would recommend this to literally anybody. I could honestly just go on and on, to be honest, but yeah, we're not gonna do that because I feel like every single time I talk about Stephen King, like I end up taking a good chunk out of these clips, and I just get lost in the conversation. So we're not going to do that in this one. But apart from those, I am also currently reading 3 books at the moment. None of them are Christmas reads. I mentioned this one in my last vlog as well, but I am currently reading The House Across the Lake by 𝒓𝒂𝒂𝒅. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. But this book so far, I'm about like 40% in. It is so good so far. It's a thriller, and I feel like it's a little psychological. I love books where you're constantly guessing throughout the entire thing what is going on. That's honestly why I love 𝒂𝒂 𝒂𝒂 so much, because all of her books are honestly just focused around making the reader just do mental somersaults. I'm constantly just trying my hardest to figure out what is going on, and I'm usually always wrong. So I really love books that just make you think. So I really feel like this has like a 𝒂𝒂 𝒂𝒂 kind of feel to the story. The next book that I'm currently reading is also one that I'm enjoying so far. That's also a thriller. This book is really, really good. I'm reading it as a part of my book club, but it's called We Used to Live Here by Marcus Cleaver. I was on hold for this book for a while, and then I finally got it, but it was like way before my book club was starting, but I ended up borrowing it anyway. But since I borrowed it too soon, I ended up running out of time, and I didn't finish it in time and basically had to get on hold for it again. So I'm currently waiting to be able to borrow it again, but I basically only got about 30% in before I had to return it. So that's a real bummer, because I've been thinking about that story for literally like the last 2 weeks, and I'm just constantly waiting that I'll get a notification from Libby that it's ready to borrow again. But so far it's really, really good. And then the third one that I'm currently reading is Keeping 13. I did finish the first one recently, which was Binding 13, and it was so good. Just, it blew my mind, because going into the book, you just don't expect it to be as heavy as it is and to be so well written. Like, I feel like this is definitely one of those books that I went into it and I was just like, I feel like I'm gonna read like a little teenager type of like young adult read that I'm not gonna end up liking, that's gonna be really cringe. And I couldn't have been more wrong about this book, to be honest. So immediately I ended up getting Keeping 13, which is part 2. She is a thick book, you guys. She's a very thick read, so I'm honestly tackling this book in audiobook format right now. The book is honestly so thick that it needs to be separated within 2 different parts. So I'm currently 50% in, which was part 1, and I'm currently waiting for part 2 to be available to borrow so that I can dive into the second half of the book. But it is honestly just as good as the first one. I'm really enjoying the story. It's definitely one of those books though that you don't expect for it to have as many triggers as it does. It deals with domestic abuse and things of that nature. So just be aware of that, to be honest, going into it, because I had no idea that this book was going to honestly get as dark as it does sometimes and cover topics that are honestly just so triggering. So definitely be mindful of that going into these books if you do pick them up. But yeah, those are basically the books that I am currently reading and have recently finished. A lot of great ones, to be honest. I'm also so excited because I am about to reach my goal of the year of 100 books. I don't even understand how I read that much this year, to be honest. I started with a goal of like 30 books and reached that, and then I just kept bring it up. I wanted to be realistic with myself and not give myself a goal of 100 right away, but I ended up doing that in the end. And I'm currently at 93 books right now. Holy cow, I don't know how I got there. I am just so stoked about the progress that I've made. I feel like I truly just dived into more books than I ever have any other year. So yeah, it's been really fun, and also just like documenting the progress with you guys on YouTube has literally been the highlight of my entire year. But yeah, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to anybody who clicks on my silly little videos and just watches my progress unfold with my reading goal. It really just means so much to me. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Or if this is your first time, thank you so much for joining me in this space, and I hope that you'll stick around. I am such a book nerd, and if that is your cup of tea, then I'm so happy that you're here, and I hope that we can be friends. But yeah, I think right now an eggnog iced matcha just sounds so good, and I really just want to make one right now. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop talking your ear off and go make one for myself really quick. I just love slowing down in these vlogs. I just feel like every once in a while we need to just tone down the crazy schedule and just kind of stay grounded and just slow down from time to time, because I feel like schedules can get so hectic, and I'm just finding so much beauty in the art of like just slowing down and just being still. So I think that's what I want to do. But yeah, let's go ahead and make ourselves a cute little drink. So it is a few days later. I just finished doing my nails right now. I got really tired of just seeing them with no color, especially now that we're in the holiday season. I just wanted to do my nails really quick, but I really love the way they turned out. You can't really tell on the camera very well, but they're just like this very dark green color. I love this color so much. It's from this 𝒔𝒆𝒄 brand, and it's in the shade Off Tropic. But yeah, it's been kind of just like a very rainy and gloomy day today, so I haven't done much, to be honest, all day except read my books. But I also just recently went to the movies, as you guys saw in the earlier clips, and I went to go watch The Holiday, which is my ultimate favorite Christmas movie. I love that movie so much. Every year around this time, they always bring that movie back into the theaters, and I always make it a habit to just go. So me and my friend went and watched it, and we did that last year as well. It's become kind of like a little tradition that we've been trying to keep up with, but we went to go watch that recently, and it was just so good. I just feel like it doesn't matter how many times I watch that movie, I just eat it up every single time. But also because of that movie, I really want to dive into The Holiday Cottage. I talked about this book in my last vlog. I recently bought this, and the cover honestly was just calling to me. I read the synopsis. It was honestly so similar to the holiday movie, and I just want to dive right into this book. I already have my bookmark in here and everything, and I thought it was a perfect day today because it's just very gloomy outside. I've just been kind of like a potato at home today, and I definitely just want to dive into this story. So along with this book that I'm going to start in a little bit, I also started a new book this morning called When in Rome. This one's been on my TBR list for quite some time. I'm so happy that I finally got started on it because it's been such a page turner, but it recently became available on the Libby app, so I decided to just get it for my Kindle, and I have just been going through this book so quickly. I believe I'm about like 66% done with it, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of those books that I will have started and finished within the same day. It's just so sweet. I love the characters so much. I also did not read the synopsis before going into this book, but I'm so happy that I went in blindly because I didn't know what to expect, and so far I'm really loving it so much. So yeah, these are the books that I'm currently tackling, but we're gonna go ahead and get started on this one. I really just want to cozy up, not that I haven't been cozying up all day. I want to continue on with my cozy day and just go ahead and start this book. I'm so excited. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just take some time, cozy up, and get some more reading done. So it is currently Saturday today. I wanted to start my day off somewhat early. It's 12:30 in the afternoon, but I wanted to get a few errands out of the way. I wrote down some things earlier on my to-do list, and I just kind of wanted to spend the day today just kind of catching up on errands and just getting some last minute things out of the way. I really want to make my way over to TJ Maxx right now because there's just a couple of people that I haven't gotten a Christmas gift for, and I'm trying to get all my Christmas shopping out of the way. So I wanted to go make a couple of stops to some different stores, see if we could find anything. And then I also want to make my way over to the grocery store just to pick up a couple of items. I want to make some oatmeal cream pie cookies. I love having baked goods for like friends and family, and I really want to make those today. But I think right now I'm going to go ahead and make my way over to TJ Maxx. But yeah, I just wanted to bring you guys along. I just want to have a productive day today. I just kind of get things checked off my to-do list.